It is another nasty weather evening across central and eastern Kentucky. I'm tracking rain and some snow just ahead.
Montgomery County emergency management officials say flooding could become a big problem in the near future.
A new wing of a Louisville hospital will be named after actress and Kentucky native Jennifer Lawrence. What it will look like ahead.
WKYT News starts now with First Alert Weather.
Good afternoon. Sam, Dick, and Amber Philpott reporting. Another round of light snow and a mix are working across parts of the state.
This is mainly affecting areas across the south, but some snowflakes could sneak into the rest of the area. Let's check in now with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey on this First Alert Severe Weather Day. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Amber. Hi, Sam. Indeed, it is the pattern that just keeps on keeping on. It is day 9, by the way, if you're playing along at home, that we have had at least some snow falling across central and eastern Kentucky. 9 in a row, that is. That's a lengthy little period of some snow out there. We look at our cams from across the region. Look at all the snow here on the Mountain Parkway cam, Lexington cam. Not as much last night into Frankfort as what we picked up into Lexington. Mountain Parkway and points to the east toward the Moorhead area. London, you have the best chance of picking up on a little light snowfall out there this evening. But notice how temperatures are pretty even right now, 35 degrees. Defender Radar Network picking up on that band of rain and some snow working across southern parts of the area. Sharp cutoff. Shocker there on the north side, huh? We get into the London, Corbin, Somerset area, back toward Russell Springs and the Jamestown area, Lake Cumberland, and up into Liberty, Casey County. Just had a report of some snow mixing in with the rain. The best chance for some out and out 2 or 3 inch snows across western Kentucky. They're on the backside of this low that is working across the Tennessee Valley, and it is weakening. Once we get that storm system out of the way, we have better weather coming our way later this week. We'll actually focus on some positive for a change coming up in a little over 10 minutes.
All right, Chris, that sounds like a great plan. For many communities, the concern isn't more snow.
Between the rain and the snow that we've already had, some people are keeping a close eye on the potential for flooding. Mike Linden continues our First Alert weather team coverage from Montgomery County. It's our top story at 4:30.
I'm hoping to see spring pretty soon.
After another round of snow for Kentucky, it's back to shoveling again.
And I think we got about 4 inches last night, and we was kind of expecting 6 to 8.
While there's still snow on the ground, most of it has melted off of the roads. That's what has county officials concerned.
With the snow melting, with the ground being frozen, with the rain that we've had, and with the rain that's in the forecast, we may see some flooding of low-lying areas and nuisance areas.
Emergency management officials say drivers also need to look out for potholes forming on the roads. With snow and ice melting, it's easy for potholes to get deeper than they already are. This particular pothole at its deepest is almost 1.5 inches deep, which certainly can cause damage to your car if you drive over it. Delk says it's been a quiet winter so far in Montgomery County, but the flood risk is always on the back of his mind.
With flooding, sometimes folks are tempted to go across that water that's across the road when it may be unsafe for them to do so.
With the flood risk increasing by the minute, Delk says the county will be ready.
We could see a more moderate or even medium to severe flooding event. We're just watching the forecasts and making preparations.
In Montgomery County, Mike Linden, WKYT.
And remember, you can get the forecast, radar, and closings on WKYT.com. You can also find the information on the WKYT News app. An annual tradition today at the state capitol in Frankfort.
The 50th Governor's Prayer Breakfast was held this morning at the Convention Center. As WKYT's Mark Barber reports, a familiar face was this year's guest speaker.
For 50 years, the Governor's Prayer Breakfast has been bringing together religious leaders to pray for our state leaders. While it's just a tradition for some governors, it's deeply personal for Matt Bevin, who is outspoken about his faith in God. That faith was celebrated this morning by hundreds of people who filled the Frankfort Convention Center to pray. Many said prayer is needed for our families, our state, and our nation because we're facing increasingly troubling circumstances. Bevin says while some might consider events like this politically incorrect, it's important for Christians to stand up for their beliefs.
So I challenge you, don't be apologetic for those. Ever. Be bold. Be bold in what you know. Be bold in what drew you to be here today.
Keynote speaker Coach John Calipari attends Catholic Mass every morning, and he says his values are reflected in his players first mentality.
Would I like to coach kids more than 1 year? Yeah. I mean, I'd like to have teams for 4 years and win every game and win every national title, and we'd all be happy. But I always say, you got to do what's best for these young people.
Coach Calipari then went on to talk about the importance of prayer, saying it matters. The lieutenant governor also spoke about the role that prayer plays in her life. She says there's probably been more prayer in her office in the past 2 months than there was over the past 50 years. In Frankfort, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Governor Bevin asked everyone at the breakfast to continue praying for him, saying he needs prayer more now than he did before the election. Last week, we first told you about a new wing of a children's hospital being named for actress Jennifer Lawrence.
The Hunger Games star donated $2 million to help build an intensive care unit for young heart patients in Kentucky. And today, we are getting a preview. Ann Bowden reports.
I'm Jennifer Lawrence. I'm excited to announce that we will be establishing the Jennifer Lawrence Foundation Cardiac Intensive Care Unit at Kosare Children's Hospital.
Doctors, staff, and patients watched as Jennifer Lawrence announced the plans for this state-of-the-art facility and her foundation's $2 million donation toward the project. Her family says the children at Kosare Children's Hospital touched her heart when she visited at Christmas.
You can see how it touches the parents when Jen goes in and, signs the posters and gives them the posters, and it just makes me really proud, and I know it really touches her too.
The facility will help children recovering from open heart surgeries, heart transplants, heart failure, and other cardiac conditions.
At our 20-week ultrasound on August 16, 2010, we found out that our son was going to be born with what is called, like Tom said, hypoplastic left heart.
Little Jonathan Young was born with half a heart. A part of the Brave Heart program at Kosare, he will directly benefit from Lawrence's donation and new facility.
The first day that we got to take our son home from here, Kosare Children's Hospital, was on Valentine's Day.
Those are the results Lawrence's family says Jennifer wants. They say she's always had a heart for children.
She always thought she would be a doctor so she could come in here and fix them, but she's doing her part.
Yes, she is. Lawrence has also called on the community to step up and match her $2 million donation. U.S. Senator Rand Paul is planning his first big trip across the state since ending his presidential campaign. The senator will visit 18 cities this week, starting this afternoon in Scottsville. He will be in central Kentucky on Friday and Saturday. Senator Paul says he will help Governor Bevin get a waiver from the federal government to begin charging Medicaid recipients for their health insurance. Senator Paul is being challenged for his Senate seat by Lexington Mayor Jim Gray, who is favored to win the Democratic nomination.
Supporters of legislation to push back the opening date for many Kentucky school districts are pointing to a study claiming the early return to school cost the state millions of dollars. The Lexington Herald-Leader says the travel industry commissioned the study to support a bill to prevent districts from starting classes before late August. Many districts start school in early August, cutting nearly a month of potential business for the travel industry. Senator Chris Girdler of Somerset is sponsoring the bill, which would set the opening date for schools no earlier than the Monday closest to August 26th.
Thank you, Coach. It was a big night for Kentucky native Chris Stapleton at the 58th Annual Grammy Awards. He won his first Grammy before the telecast even started for Best Country Solo Performance. And during the live show, his debut album, Traveler, was named Country Music's Album of the Year. He then took the stage with Gary Clark Jr. and Bonnie Raitt to pay tribute to the legendary B.B. King.
Disney announced new cast members for the next big Star Wars movie, Episode 8. They are Laura Dern, Benicio del Toro, and Kelly Marie Tran. Dern is perhaps best known for her role in the original Jurassic Park movie. Del Toro won an Oscar for his role in Traffic. Tran is a newcomer to Hollywood. Filming on Episode 8 started this week. The movie, the third in a trilogy, does not have a name yet, but it's set to hit theaters in December of 2017. Boy, I don't know if you were out early this morning, but that fog was very interesting on top of the snowy, slushy mess that we had.
I missed it. I chose to sleep in, so Amber, you got to enjoy it for me. Chris, that could be a dangerous situation. The fog can get kind of thick out there on the roads.
Yeah, it really was last night and this morning, too. It was really strange to see so much heavy rain, so much heavy snow, and then fog on top of it all. That's a trio that was making for nasty travel across the entire region last night, early this morning. Travel much better this afternoon. We look at our sky cams from across the entire region. Frankfort area, as expected, didn't get much snow last night. Lexington area and east soaking up most of the snow. Look at all that still on the Mountain Parkway corridor there. We're watching the London area, 35 degrees here, where we've got a touch of some light rain and some light snows that are breaking out with a system that is working across mainly the southern parts of the area. This is a light rain and light snow maker. Not going to put down a ton of snow, maybe a pocket here or there of an inch or two, but overall, as temperatures tonight drop below freezing, whatever slush and wet roads that we're seeing across the area where you live will try to ice up again just in time for tomorrow morning's commute. Hey, speaking of the commute, let's see how things are looking this afternoon. I bet they're a lot better than how we started the day. Here's Officer Don.
Yeah, they are. At least we can see now, and traffic flow around Lexington is manageable on the inner and outer loops of New Circle, also on I-75 north and southbound between the northern and southern splits. We don't have too much happening right now. You can see the slowdowns leaving downtown on Richmond Road, also Nicholasville Road in that corridor. Now, as far as collisions go, working one at Reynolds Road. Actually, there's one at New Circle. The right lane's blocked at Meadow Lane. That's a non-injury crash. We cleared the problem on Reynolds. Drive times this afternoon not impacted as much because of weather across the Clays Ferry Bridge into Madison County. We're okay. It's 12 minutes to Nicholasville, 19 minutes to Paris, and about 23 to Winchester. Now back to you in the studio.
Officer Don, thank you. A special President's Day celebration, and a principal channels his inner Drake. It's the video that will have you talking. Take a look at this.
One man from Virginia celebrated President's Day in his backyard with his uniquely patriotic collection of sculptures. Howard Hankins has a collection of 43 President head sculptures sitting in his backyard. He was hired to crush the statues, but instead took them back to his concrete recycling business. He got the statues for free from a theme park that closed in Virginia, and he hopes they'll find a new home one day. But until then, every time he looks at his collection, he's happy that he didn't get rid of them. That's something you don't see every day.
That is something. Well, a simple tweet or email is a common way to announce that his school is closing, but a Southern Indiana superintendent decided to get a little creative for canceling classes yesterday.
You know I'm calling on your cell phone to let you know no school today. There will be no class today for you.
The superintendent of Greater Clark County Schools, it's near Louisville, Dr. Andrew Mellon, inserted his face into Drake's Hotline Bling video and sang Snowline Bling. While many schools across the southern portion of the state were closed due to wintry conditions, Dr. Mellon can say he was the only superintendent to cancel classes in this particular fashion. Those never get old. We always see those this time of year. I love them.
I love his sense of humor. Maybe somebody in Kentucky will pick up on that.
Absolutely.
You never know. Give it a try. Let us know.
On that